Hello and welcome to Belgium for the halfway stage in the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. We're in Bastogne, famous for the battle towards the end of the Second World War, 1944-1945, in the winter months, where 17,000 US troops were killed here in a battle that caught the Americans by surprise. And the town itself, one of the historic towns of Europe, and the history that's gone before it. It's also famous for the Bastogne-Liège, the classic bicycle race. As that roundabout there just testifies to. Well, it's been a while since we've been in this Wallonie region. We're in the southeast of Belgium. Namur is about 45 minutes up the road, of course, the most famous Grand Prix circuit in all of Belgium. But this weekend, though, we're on a brand new circuit. A little bit grassy, a little bit old school. Bit of new thrown in as well with the big jumps and all the rest of it. But in MX2, it's Jeffrey Hurlings who has a 24-point advantage over Tommy Searle. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek is third. He's 25 points further back. Joe Roulant is fourth, and Max Anstey sits in fifth. Well, in the qualifying race yesterday, we'll talk about it in a moment, it was Jeremy Van Hoorbeek who was the fastest, and will start from his home Grand Prix in pole position around this 1,550-metre long circuit. A long start straight here into a slightly off-cambered left-hand turn, and then back down past pit lane. We're going down to the grid. Here's Amy.
It's Sunday, it's racing. Guess what? It's not raining. Joining me now, Ryan Villapoto. Ryan, what have you been up to since you've been in Europe?
Just having a lot of fun, you know, just doing some sightseeing. We're over here, we're not racing, so we're taking advantage of being here and not racing. So it's a great experience, and now that we're here to watch the first GP, it's going to be a fun day.
And I hear you've just done the lap of honour.
Yeah, I did. So it's really cool. The track's pretty good, and you know, obviously with a lot of rain they've had, the track is in really good condition. The pits aren't so good, but track is good. So I think we should have some good racing today.
And who do you fancy for the MX2 win?
You know, I don't know. I haven't really paid attention enough to really know. But now that I'm here, I'll be able to see, you know, who's really the top guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Right, before we go to the MX2 race, we're going to check out behind the scenes of LS Honda. The team's finished third in the World Championship with Clement Dessel. You've got a real podium contender with Jonathan Barragan. Is he just still adapting to the bike, getting used to things?
In the beginning of the year, yeah, it's always the same. He had a small injury, was not sure about the bike, but I think like the bike is now, for sure he's really happy from the bike, and I think for the next GPs we're gonna grow step by step.
We started with a production bike. First we changed the engine, we modified the head, the cams, changed the exhaust to AGS one, suspension, Showa from WV2. We also changed the wheels. We put in some hand wheels. The results are going to be better each week. Jonathan is doing a good job, and that's what we need.
Jonathan, in the past few years, we've seen you with factory teams such as KTM and Kawasaki. How are you finding the transition now to Honda and a private team at that?
Yeah, I'm really comfortable to change to Honda. It's not a factory team, like you say. The last years I've been in a factory team in KTM and in Kawasaki, but now it's not really factory bike in the Honda, but I really feel good with the bike. Already standard bike is really good, and yeah, I'm really happy with the choice to come to Honda.
And it seems like your results have really started to improve since Brazil. Why is that?
Yes, I don't know why. Maybe in the beginning of the season we use another suspension. We use other brand. Now we go back to Showa. And yeah, from Mexico and Portugal, I make very good results, and I hope I can do again the same. But like you say, I think in the beginning of the season we have some problems with the suspension, and we have a little bit time to change. Now it's coming better.
We are using Showa A-Kit, which is actually the best thing from Showa that you can buy. And then the next step is the factory suspension. We hope the track will be dry tomorrow, because we did a lot of testing in the pre-season, and we have for most of the tracks we have a pretty good setup. But now, yeah, it's going to be difficult and different tomorrow maybe.
Obviously this weekend it's the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got slightly trying and testing conditions with the rain. How is it going to be out there this weekend?
I expect it was no rain, and I hope tomorrow no rain. I really like more when it's hot and it's not raining. So, but Belgium and Holland, you know, it's also this year it's many GPs like in Brazil raining. So yeah, we see tomorrow. I really don't like so much the mud, but it's okay. Yeah, I enjoy the track because I really like this track. It's hard, but we see tomorrow.
Van dienst trekken naar beneden. Ik snap het al, keurig opgelost. Door er een zeiltje op te doen. Zodat Landvoort iedereen gelijk is. Eerste bocht. Enorm belangrijk. De eerste bocht in deze Monster Energy Grand Prix hier op Sans-Souci.
The FIM MX2 riders make their way down to the start line to begin their weekend's work here. It's the 8th round of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. There was our championship leader, Jeffrey Hurlings, the Red Bull factory KTM rider. But he wasn't fastest in the qualifying session. Remember, we had big rain on Saturday and on Friday, so the qualifying race sessions were aborted, and instead we opted for the pre-qualifying time session that would normally determine the race or the grid positions for the qualifying race. Those times stood as the official qualifying times, and it was Jeremy Van Hoorbeek of Belgium, the teammate to Jeffrey Hurlings, who posted a time of 2:04.331. Dylan Ferrandis, the Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki rider, was second, and they were the only two guys registering times of 2:04 anything. Jeffrey Hurlings was next on a 2:06.5, just narrowly edging out Tommy Searle, the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider. And then it was Arnaud Tonus, Monster Energy Yamaha, Jordi Tixier, Nikolai Larsen, standing Construct Suzuki with his best qualifying of the season, and Joel Roulants, Max Anstey, Petr Petrov, and Jake Nichols down in 11th. Then it was Alessandro Lupino, Mel Pocock, and Harry Kulas, and the rest in what were very, very difficult conditions indeed. You'll see the complete list here on your screen. But in terms of the championship itself, Jeffrey Hurlings 24 points clear of Tommy Searle. And Hurlings already this year has 8 wins and 4 second places. He has 5 overall Grand Prix victories out of the 7 that we've ran so far in the Netherlands at Valkenswaard, Sevlievo, Bulgaria, Fermo in Italy. Then we were in Guadalajara in Mexico. We were in Brazil at Beto Carrero, Saint-Jean in France, and Águeda in Portugal 1 week ago. Max Anstey, though, is looking good in 5th place in the championship as well on the Garibaldi Honda Esta machine. And that Monster Energy 15-second board goes up, and the crowd are on their feet here, and the circuit, a definite throwback to the old school in more ways than one. Not just the layout of the circuit, the dirt and all the rest of it, but the fans are as close this year as they're ever going to be at a motocross Grand Prix. They're lining the fences all around this circuit. The gate drops, and it's Hurlings and Tonus. They keep it clean coming out of the start line, as you'd expect, but Tommy Searle sweeps in from across the outside, and he pulls a whole shot in moto number 1, does the Kawasaki rider. Tixier at the inside, so too Van Hoorbeek, and Jake Nichols in there, it looked like, as well, as they go through that second turn, through the shallow waves, and immediately over the first of the big jumps here, the triple jump, and Hurlings and Tommy Searle challenging each other, and Hurlings goes through and makes the pass stick on Tommy Searle. Loses drive coming out of that corner, though, but Hurlings going to hold the inside line here. Tommy Searle knows just to stay away. Oh, almost getting a pitch there, Tommy Searle. But the race is on here between Hurling, Searle, Tixier, Nichols and Van Hoorbeek. They're the first guys through. And we've got Dylan Ferrandis there in the flash of yellow. Just back there in around 6 as the two Red Bull KTM riders, Van Hoorbeek and Tixier, decide to get a little bit gnarly with each other. But up front, everyone's going to be watching this battle for the next 19, 20, 21 laps or so between the 84 Jeffrey Hurlings and the 100 of Tommy Searle. 89 goes through. Nichols there in 4th place on the number 45. Then it's Van Hoorbeek, Ferrandis, Pocock in another wild card ride here. That's him there just coming in the background on the Monster Energy Yamaha. There he is, 119. But this circuit yesterday through here was very tricky. The guys having to stand up through there, the front and rear tyres fighting for traction throughout that, what is the longest sweeping turn on this racetrack here at Bastogne in the Ardennes region. Haven't been to this part of, whoa, look at that, Joel Roulan's getting a little bit leery coming through there as well on that second of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki's. But I can't believe we're seeing these conditions this dry after the rain we had for the last 45 hours. You have to say a big hats off really for the organisers here in Belgium for getting this racetrack in the condition that it is now. There's Mel Pocock, there's Ferrandis challenging Tixier as they come over the Monster Energy finish line for the first time. It's Hurling, Searle, Hoorbeek, Jake Nichols, Joel Roulant and Jordi Tixier. We're on board with Joel Roulant in that 5th place. And then behind them, Ferrandis, Pocock, Valentin Guyot, Kevin Four and Jose Boutron. Romain Fevre, the French rider, down in 12th ahead of Samuel Zaney, Alessandro Lupino on the Husqvarna, then Andrea Chervelin, Jeremy Stewart, Julian Lieber, Nick Larson, Max Anstey down in 19th, and Lurk Clarier. Anybody else behind them? Jens Getterman on the standing construct. Suzuki down in 21st place. And a bit further down on the build-based Honda, Jordan Booker in a wildcard ride this weekend for the British Honda team. Managed, of course, by the 3-time world champion Dave Thorpe, who would have relished riding around a circuit like this. Okay, maybe take out a few waves, but the actual layout, the natural terrain would have suited the former world champion right down to the ground. But as this race gets underway, then we wait for the official first lap time to come through. And of course, Jeffrey Hurlings, our man out front at the moment, and him and Tommy Searle already starting to break free from the 89 here of Van Hoorbeek and Jake Nichols on the Nissan GM Racing KTM on the face of the jump. Now number 45, who's having a good season so far in MX2, down in 7th position, already registering a career best 4th place finish earlier on in the season. But Tommy Searle looked struggling in the early stages to try and keep Jeffrey Hurlings into view. Well, the sun coming out here, and it's set to be with us throughout the whole of the afternoon. But Joel Roulant's there going after Jake Nichols, with Jordi Tixier just behind him there in that 6th place, number 911 on the Red Bull KTM. But alongside me now, we've got Jan Postema. Of course, you may have heard the news that we've got the Grand Prix in Thailand next year in the FIM MX1, MX2 Motocross World Championship. Jan Postema from the Netherlands, a trainer and former rider, as Mel Pocock looks to go down the inside of Dylan Ferrandis. Oh, here we are on board. Excuse me, just one second, Jan Postema. But Joel Roulant's here. It's a long start straight. Jake Nichols alongside him getting a good jump look, and also Van Hoorbeek 89, Tixier. But Tommy Searle came from 3 or 4 riders further out and swooped around the outside. Jeffrey Hurlings, though, kept it nice and tight, and 3 or 4 corners later found a way through on Tommy Searle. Jan Postema joins me. He's involved heavily with the promotion and the behind-the-scenes activities for the Thai Grand Prix next year. First of all, Jan, the date has been set. Tell us more about the date for the Thai Grand Prix 2013.
Well, we're going to be the first Grand Prix out there next year, so that's really great. Really happy that Ustream has decided to give the first Grand Prix to Thailand, and we're going to make a huge impression and do a good job down there.
Of course, the promoter of the race, we saw him out in Brazil at Beta Carreiro, so he already knows what to expect and the standard that needs to be set, doesn't he, in terms of running this event?
Yeah, the ones who won't find me have been out there for a long, long time. They really know what's necessary, and I'm going to help them out as much as I can, flying down there next week for 10 days and checking a lot of facilities, and so the riders will be taken care of in the best way.
And what kind of thing can we expect from the Thai Grand Prix? The nature of the ground, is it going to be hilly? Is it going to be flat? Is it going to be hard pack or sandy, or what's it going to be?
It's not going to be too steep. It's going to be similar like this. The track's going to be definitely hard pack, but we're going to put some sand in. We're going to really make it enjoyable to watch, and we're going to have a blast out there.
And when do they actually start work on the track? I take it the circuit was already there anyway?
Yeah, we're going to start in about 10 days, starting work on the track, having Greg down there looking at the track. Greg Atkins really making the track down there. and starting working very, very early.
Okay, well, let's just for now get back to the action here. Jeffrey Hurlings just went through a moment ago, sets the fastest lap of the race of 1:50.1 and is already 3.2 seconds clear of Tommy Searle, the Brit, in second position on the Kawasaki. Van Hoorbeek is third, Nichols fourth, and Roulant's fifth. That's Roulant just disappearing around the corner there. The guy number 911 takes a look back over his shoulder. That's Jordi Tixier, as he keeps a watchful eye on the 22 of Dylan Ferrandis on the Rockstar Energy Bud Racing Kawasaki, under the watchful eye, of course, of Jackie Vimon, a former world champion in the 250 division. I mentioned that because this weekend we also had an Evo class race here just a moment ago before the second race. Anything two-stroke built before 1990, so a bit of a throwback in many ways here, this circuit. Seventh place, Dylan Ferrandis, that's who we're looking at there, and Mel Pocock on the Monster Energy Yamaha just behind him in eighth. Ahead of him, behind him, sorry, Valentin Guia and Jose Boutron. Jan Postema, look at that, a mistake there from Tixier as Dylan Ferrandis now tries to capitalize on that. Looks like he's maybe going to find a way through, is he? No. Unless he rails around the outside here and heads down over the step down that takes the riders down to the bottom end of the circuit. He has a controlling position here, though. Not going to get through. The circuit in absolutely fantastic condition compared to what we had yesterday. It's hard to believe it, isn't it?
Unbelievable what they've done. The track is tricky. It's really, really tricky. I was really surprised with Hurlings. I'm Dutch, so I really am for him, but the pass that he made was unbelievable. I would like to see that on camera, because on that double jump, scrubbing underneath.
Yeah, and it wasn't a lot of room there, right?
There was no space. I mean, there was half a meter maximum, and he just did it. He was just like, I want it, and he got it, and fair and square and brilliant job.
Yeah, and of course he's been heavily scrutinized for his performances the last couple of weeks, so I don't want to dwell on those, but showing that he can get out of the start clean and make a clean pass as well, and at the moment more than 3 seconds clear of Tommy Searle, and doing what we all know he's capable of, and keeping it clean and just concentrating on the riding this weekend, it seems.
He's in a learning process, so that makes a big difference as well. If you're 17, you make mistakes, and you make big mistakes, you make small mistakes, but on the track, like today, he's like reborn, and he's opened up his mind and going for it. It looks brilliant.
Tixier going around the outside of Roulant, cuts it to the inside. These are going to be side by side. He couldn't jump this triple jump yesterday. Very, very close in the air. Roulant's going to hold the inside line here. This is where that pass was made at the beginning of the moto on the very first lap between Jeffrey Hurlings and Tommy Searle. But Roulant then going through, or not going through, but obviously trying to fend off the challenge from Tixier in the early stages. Jake Nichols putting a little bit of a gap. Say a little bit. It's hardly a gap, but it's enough for Jake to have to not worry about defending the inside lines and all the rest of it. And the circuit conditions here, Jan Postema. I'm surprised, actually. I mean, when I came here and looked at the circuit on Thursday, I thought, yeah, okay, it's old, it's flat, there's nothing really special about it and everything else. But in the back of my mind, I thought we'll probably be in for some good racing, because if the conditions are like this, and I was thinking this on Thursday, then it gives the riders the freedom to create new lines square across the back of each other, and, you know, you don't have to follow through the ruts. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. You have so many choices to pass, so many choices for a different line. They really have to protect themselves a little bit, not being too aggressive. If you're too aggressive, I mean, your ankles, your knees, you really have to be aware of your body throughout the seasons. And it's not an easy thing. And the lines are there. The lines will kick you if you don't fix it.
Yeah, Joel Roulant's looking like he's getting closer to Jake Nichols. This is the battle for fourth place. It's Jake Nichols who's there at the moment. We're on board with Joel Roulant a moment ago as he tries to go after Jake Nichols in the Star Gem Racing KTM rider. He's got the Red Bull KTM of Jordi Tixier. Just behind him has the number 34, Joel Roulant. And if we look, we've got two Belgians inside the top 5 places. So looking pretty good for the home riders and also the home fans, who will be pleased that the sun has come out and we're getting this close racing out on this brand new circuit in the Ardennes region in the southeast of Belgium. Joe Roulant's carrying our onboard camera. Had a very interesting start to the season, of course. Was up there pretty much finishing on the podiums week in, week out, until he had that big crash at Fermo. And since then, he's not really been the same rider, but he just starts to look like his normal self, Jan Postema. Maybe you have more information on that or not?
If you have a concussion, it's unbelievable. You have to be so sharp, so motivated. And if you're not clear, you're not, let's say you're 3% off, that gives you 2 seconds less on the track. And with those 2 seconds, you definitely have a big problem.
Well, while we've been concentrating on the battles further down, Jeffrey Hurlings is being reeled in here by Tommy Searle. The gap was more than 3 seconds a couple of laps ago. It's now 2.2. So Tommy Searle looks to have settled into the rhythm here. Of course, the thing we should mention, Jan Postema, is yesterday, obviously they had a 20-minute or 30-minute free practice, and then they went straight into the time training session a little after in the afternoon. All the sessions they had on the circuit yesterday were in really muddy conditions. The lap times didn't really improve during the weekend. In fact, the qualifying times yesterday, 2:04. The lap times now 1:51, 1:50, the fastest lap in the race so far. So it gives you some idea. 15 seconds slower the lap time yesterday than today. And of course, they have no dry settings from this track, you know, from yesterday. So they're pretty much going blind, aren't they? They had the 20-minute warm-up this morning. And, of course, you know, the riders themselves may be just trying to find their way as they find a new balance on the circuit. But look at that, on board with Roulance. Did he find a way around Jake Nichols? It looked like Jake Nichols didn't quite get over that jump a moment ago. But, yeah, Jan Postema, no information from the riders at all in terms of the amount of laps they could do yesterday and the conditions of the circuit today.
You can see that they're fighting now. They're fighting for a new line. They're fighting to get past. I mean, it's a totally different ballgame. So you really have to watch. Hurlings was really comfortable in the front. Yeah. And if you slow down a little bit, let's say you go off the pace like 2 or 3 seconds, or 1 or 2 seconds even, then a guy in the back easily catches up to you. And that was kind of what happens to Hurlings at the moment.
Yeah, and we were talking during the MX2, or just before this, sorry, the 125 European race earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, about, you know, if Hurlings maybe gets out in front, you know, normally he disappears, and it's very, very difficult for the rider like Tommy Searle to close him down. But if he doesn't make the start, or if he gets past early on, the reaction and the riding from Jeffrey Hurlings is a little bit different, maybe not as confident as when he's out front leading.
Yeah, but still, those guys get nervous as well. Yeah. I mean, you see each other being close. You know that he's there. You know in the back of your mind he's there. And, I mean, they're good. They're pros, but they're nervous, so you can easily make a mistake. So that's really they have to be aware of.
Well, at the moment, 2.0 seconds the gap before. They're coming over the line now, and Jeffrey Hurlings goes a 1:51.7, Tommy 1:51.4. That gap 1.7 seconds. That's what it looks like on camera, on screen with these guys. But so far, Tommy Searle starting to work his magic here and doing his best to close down on our race leader. Let's go down to pit lane.
Joining me in the pit lane, Jean-Jacques Lizzetti. Tommy has said that this year the thing he really wanted to improve on with his starts. This race, you saw him take the whole shot. He had a great start, and he's still looking great out there.
Yes, he has a very good start, but he's made one little mistake on the first lap. Jeffrey passed him, but now he's returned, and I think and I hope he can win.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see JJ down there, but look at Tommy Searle closing in now, nothing in it. It was 1.7, that gap come right down now. So Jeffrey Hurlings starting to feel the pressure here. Tommy Searle looking keen to get through as he gets on the gas and loses the rear end coming out of that turn. And the good thing about this circuit, Jan Postema, is the crowd are very, very close to the action now. It's definitely like going back 20 years, isn't it? You know, they can shout their heroes all around the circuit, and, you know, they're enjoying that, certainly.
Yeah, as a rider, you can hear the crowd. You definitely hear the crowd. You feel the crowd because you're so close. On the other hand, for the crowd, it's really great because you hear the RPMs, you hear everything. You're very, very close and very, very near. So you can see the difference. I would see Hurlings be on the second spot. And look what the lines are different. I mean, you can pass everywhere. So maybe when he's clever, he's backing off a little bit, let him pass and see what he's doing. So
obviously coming from the nether, looking nervous.
Cool. No, he's looking good. Look, just checks out where he is.
Yeah, okay.
That's why. Well, hey, that's what I would do.
But normally when a rider is that close, you just kind of know that you've got the guy breathing down your neck. I know he's probably looking to see if he's there or to the left or to the right, but at the same time, he probably didn't realize that he'd gone from 1.7 seconds right the way down to maybe less than a second, maybe you know, 3/4 of a second. In fact, 0.8 of a second. So my eye's getting better actually in my old age. But very interesting to see these two guys. Normally you would put Tommy Searle as the favourite in the race because of the harder conditions, but a lot of guys now spend a lot of time in the Netherlands and the Belgium region riding in the sand tracks. So for someone like Jeffrey Hurlings, you know, he doesn't only ride in the sandy tracks, he also trains a little bit on the hard pack, but he'll be enjoying his moment here in the front of Tommy Searle, won't he, on a hard pack, and saying, you know, if I beat him here, that's another another 3 points. That's more confidence for me because I know I can win in the sand, I can win on the hard pack. But he has his hands full at the moment.
Yeah, but on the bike, he's a clever kid, and he knows where he is. And they are so often on the bike. They're more relaxed than we were, I think. They just can turn the bike. The bikes are really good. The shocks, the front fork, I mean, it's just a brilliant thing.
Different line there for Tommy Searle, keeping it nice and tight coming out of the previous corner. No braking bumps coming into that next sweeping right, and he's managing to carry more momentum around the outside. So any time that he loses after the start line area, he pulls it right back there, and you can see the difference that that's made already. And it goes back to what we said a moment ago, Jan Postema, about the line choice, the creativity that these guys can exercise out on this racetrack here in Belgium.
It's a big difference. I mean, Herlings is protecting a little bit, and he can choose whatever he wants to do. He said, okay, that's what I lose, that's where I gain, and that makes a big, big difference. You can see the upper body is really, on both riders, they're so fresh, they're so strong, they're so fit, and it's just lovely to see and very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, and just keeping an eye on the lap times here, or the rest of the race. In fact, when these guys come through in a moment, we'll give you the update as the rest of the guys come through. But there's a very nervous-looking Jean-Jacques Lissetti.
Absolutely.
We saw Pit Byron a moment ago as well down in the KTM camp. And obviously doubling in. They couldn't double, triple or single or anything through there yesterday. But still 0.8 of a second the gap. Tommy Searle again another 10th quicker as he homes in. You watch when we get half a lap round this circuit in a moment, Jan Postema, when we see the line I was talking about with Tommy Searle and the approach coming into the corner at the end of the straight where they come back towards us in a moment. But not scrubbing through there like he did on the first lap, but Tommy Searle going from right to left, giving himself a nice angle, and it wasn't as tight for him as he came through that turn. Suddenly the crowd are getting on their feet here, and they're really lighting up this place in Belgium as Tommy Searle goes after Jeffrey Herlings, gets good drive through there. This is the part of the track I'm talking about. Tommy Searle goes wider and then cuts across to the left-hand side as he comes out. Nice and tight. Not going to do it this time, though. Typical. But here we go. Back on here. Herlings in the bumps. Tommy Searle around the outside. Last time around, it was so much quicker. He carried so much more momentum. But not able to do that this time around. But Herlings, though, you've got to say, doing a great job of holding off the challenge from the Kawasaki rider at the moment. Van Hoorbeek is still third, but they're 9.5 seconds down on this battle for the lead between the top two riders in this MX2 championship. Then we've got Roulant's fourth, Nichols is fifth, having been passed a couple of laps ago by Joel Roulant. Then we've got Tixier, Ferrandis, Pocock, Boutron, and Valentin Guyot. 11th is Roman Febvre, then Jeremy Sewer of Switzerland. Lupino on the Ritchie Racing Husqvarna is 13th, ahead of the Monster Energy Yamaha number 7 on a Tonus. Kevin Bors is 15th, then Max Anstey, Garibaldi Honda Ester machine, not getting to grips with this circuit at the moment, but we've still got 17 minutes plus 2 to go. There's plenty of time for his fitness to kick in and hoist him up towards the top end of the leaderboard. Nikolai Larsen is 17th, ahead of Lieber, Petrov, and Glenn Coldenhoff.
You can see the difference in the body. Whoa, almost making a mistake. They're both quite relaxed, but if you're the second guy and you can look at the first one, you really know what's happening and really can see the different line.
Golovkin goes down, the back marker there. But he was already outside the points anyway on the Riga Racing Kawasaki. Run and owned, of course, by Ivo Steenbergs.
Herlings is staying out the ruts a little bit more. He's keen. At the moment, he's like controlling it a bit more, and he's staying on the packs a lot. So it's definitely going to help him.
What did you make to the Portuguese Grand Prix last week? Of course, this gap between these two was very similar in the second moto last week between Herlings and Tommy Searle. Tommy Searle would get close, and they'd hit back markers. That's one mistake from Searle on the previous lap.
See how relaxed Searle is. Look at him. He's having fun.
Yeah.
This is what we enjoy. I mean, you're on there, you're a top-level rider, and you're just wheeling it, you're having fun.
Yeah, another mistake here, though. Look, just a moment ago.
Yeah. That's risky. Whoa.
Yeah, but unfazed, kept it in there, kept it on the gas. He knows he can't afford to give too much time away to Herlings.
No.
This part of the track yesterday was very interesting. Very wet all the way through there, and obviously the riders couldn't all get over this tabletop, but just one definitive line now for the riders to take off as that 90-degree corner just lends itself to that line through the middle. But that will change during the course of the day. And of course, as slow getting out of there, Tommy Searle. But what I was talking about a moment ago in Portugal, the gap between these two guys was no more than a couple of seconds apart, but Tommy Searle always seemed to pull it back, and then it would go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So with 15 minutes plus 2 to go, I can't see Tommy Searle being too phased or put off by the fact that Herlings just got away almost 2 seconds clear on this lap. But it's just more energy, more effort to work hard to close down that gap to give himself a chance of going for the pass.
Yeah, you see the difference with Herlings at the moment. He's sometimes just off thrust, on thrust, and he's really having thrust now.
Yeah. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek looking good as well. Second, Max Anstey's out. So the Honda Garibaldi Esther rider, Max Anstey, goes out of, where was he? Well, he was in about 16th position a moment ago. So disappointment for Max Anstey and Giacomo Garibaldi, of course, a former European Championship team winner with Christophe Charlier back in 2009. But I was about to say, looking good. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek still there in third, only 6 seconds behind Tommy. Look at the gap now between the leading two, 4 seconds. But a big gap back to fourth position. Joel Roulance, Jake Nichols, they're about 5-6 seconds apart. And then we've got Tixier over the line, Ferrandis and Mel Pocock still hanging on in there. Good points for him in eighth. And then it's Jose Boutron and Valentin Guyot.
I'm really surprised with Pocock doing an absolutely brilliant job. Been out there for a long, long time and really doing different things, teaching different, and he's really up there. Really great job.
Yeah, I mean, with Mo Pocock from the Monster Energy Yamaha, I think you could probably argue at 15 it was too soon for him to go to MX2 when he did, but he was thrown in at the deep end, covering him for a rider. But, you know, looking good, and he tried to save it. Dylan Ferrandis goes down, and he is not quite out. He is now out of 7th position. Mel Pocock goes through, and this is going to be disappointment for him. But he tried to hang it there. He looked like he was on a jet ski for a moment. Just had to correct the turn on it, but he was already hanging off the back of the bike, Dylan Ferrandis. And, yeah, no good, the Frenchman. And he goes out with 12 minutes to go in this first race.
Upper body too far back, not sitting down, not feeling the bike, and then, I mean, you lose it.
Yeah, he carried quite a bit of corner speed in there as well. Look, he was just...
Body too far back.
The back, yeah, the front started to go first, and then he thought he could keep it in there, but ended up going down. Nice try, though. Good effort.
Good for the school to use for the kids to show what, hey, where should your body be?
Yeah. There's Jordi Tixier then. He is now in 6th place as Ferrandis disappears from 7th. And we're right down the bottom end of the circuit. We're getting ready to go back down to pit lane. And I think we're getting ready to talk to KTM. I'm not quite sure, but there's Tixier. And he's having a good season in 2012, nice and consistent. Currently 6th in the championship, 4 down on Max Anstey, who we know has just gone out of this race. Let's go down to pit lane. Here's Amy.
Joining me in the pit lane, Pete Vieira of Red Bull KTM. We're going to talk about Jordi. Jordi has made fantastic progress this year. Are you happy with how he's riding?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, exactly what you said. Stefan is working with him on a base to build a base, and now you can see that he gets better actually every week, and he's riding with the top guys. But please forgive me right now, I'm very focused on the Herlings and Searle battle, which is quite interesting today.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, it is very interesting between Herlings and Searle, although that gap now, 4.3, a couple of laps where Tommy Searle, the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider, found himself making just a couple of mistakes and losing that rear wheel of Jeffrey Herlings. But with 11 minutes plus 2 laps to go, Herlings continues to lead from Tommy Searle. Van Hoorbeek is third with Roulance, Nichols, Tixier, Pocock, Boutron, Guyot and Tonus rounding out the top 10. We're looking at Jake Nichols, the number 45 Nastan Gem Racing KTM rider, and he's now in 5th position. He's got a little bit of a gap between himself and Jordi Tixier, around 6 seconds, something like that. So he'll be nice and comfortable there, although Arnold Tonus, further down the leaderboard in 10th, he's just gone by Valentin Guyot, the Scott Racing KTM rider. So Tonus now up into 9th place with that nice move just a moment ago on the youngster. There's some good kids coming through at the moment, aren't there, Jan Postema? We were talking in the European 125 race earlier that that 125 and 250 European platform gives the stars of tomorrow, you know, the test they need and the and the experience they need to make that transition from the European classes up into MX2. And it's good to see the likes of Valentin Guillot and, of course, Dylan Ferrandis, who we just saw go out a moment ago, and, of course, Mel Pocock, the current 250 leader in European MX2, as Ferrandis makes another mistake, you know, coming to the top in MX2.
It was great. All the teams can see the young kids coming up, and they can really say, hey, we'll pick one. Take them in the team, help them out, build it up, and because you have to build, I mean, you can't get it for free. You just have to build with the kid and get him on a certain level. Yeah,
Dylan Ferrandis, not sure if there's a problem with that bike after he had that first crash through that long sweeping right-hander a couple of laps ago, or if he's been off again, but obviously going to be disappointed. The kid who could have won the European Championship MX2 class last year, took the most wins, remember, 7 wins, lost the championship by 3 points to Romain Febvre, who won an overall. I'm not sure he won a moto, though. Romain Febvre actually, yeah, won the moto in France, the first moto at Saint-Jean, in what was a pretty muddy affair before the weather conditions cleared up. Pretty similar to today, actually. But there's Tommy Searle there, you see from the caption. The last time around they were 4.4, but he's coming into the final corner now. Jeffrey Hurlings has another mistake.
You can see the body as well. You can see he's crunching a bit more to the front, and he's not opening up. So the strong is different.
Yeah, sometimes I think when you're relaxed, you, like you say, you sit a little bit more differently on the bike. But when you then start to get panicky and start to get aggressive, the body changes. 8.5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. Tommy Searle, the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider, now 5.6 seconds down on Jeffrey Hurlings. Just 1 or 2 mistakes starting to creep into the Englishman's game now, as Hurlings outstretches that lead. He was quicker last time around, 153.4 compared to the 154.6. Van Hoorbeek is third. That's Roulance we're looking at in fourth, with Nichols there in 5th place. But the battle really is Tixier, Pocock, Boutron, as they fight over 6th, 7th, 8th place, a little bit further away from these guys. But Joe Roulance and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, 2 Belgians, inside the top 4 positions, 3rd and 4th to be exact, putting on a good show here for the Belgian crowd. Of course, we've been used to going to places like Lommel the past few seasons, but it's good to be down in this part of the country again, isn't it? Jan Postema, Namur just a little bit further up the road, another historic circuit. This town historic for all kinds of reasons, the battle in the World War and that kind of thing, but so far the club, the organising committee here, putting on a good show for us here, providing a great circuit, and that's providing some great racing. I think we'll be here to come in the next few years.
It would be great, because this is a track is so much more difficult. You go to Lommel. I'm going to bring the Thai team to Lommel, but I have to stay at my place for at least 3 weeks to survive Lommel. Lommel's going to be so killing after a while. So this is great. Really putting a lot of effort into it. I'm really surprised they did this tremendous job on the track. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, there's Jake Nichols. He's in 5th. We're going back down to pit lane.
Joining me in the pit lane, Jackie Martins. Jake Nichols is having a great race out there. Obviously, slightly different conditions than yesterday. Did he mention how it was out there in free practice?
Yeah, it's, yesterday it was difficult. The track was very muddy, but yeah, on today the track is perfect, and Jake feels himself in a good shape. And yeah, he's doing well after his injury again, same like Goldenhoff yesterday, of last week. I like to see him on the place in 5th place. For me, it's okay.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah, the Jackie Martins run the Star Jam Racing team. Jan Postema, obviously you living in Holland. You've known Jackie for many, many years, as I have. But he turns out a good team, doesn't he? A very professional team. And it seems like that's the stepping stone for the Red Bull KTM team. And if someone like Jake Nichols continues to impress, who knows? Maybe he's going to be on the main factory team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, you can see he's really going for the kids, going in the dirt, really doing the basic through the week and really helping them out. And that's necessary. I mean, it's difficult. It's absolutely difficult to be top up there. Like also, I just talked to Poker before. The boys are really relaxed before the race. They're just, I mean, they're doing this every week in and out. So it's much more a thing they really enjoy.
Yeah, and it's quite intense now as well, isn't it? I mean, we have different championships all over the UK as well. Obviously, next week they go back, the British boys, to Northern Ireland for the next round of the British Championship at Desert Martin. But, you know, then it's back to Sweden 1 week later. Arno Tonas, Monster Energy Yamaha rider, teammate to Mel Pocock. Teunis down in 9th place, a couple of positions behind his teammate, the younger rider in this squad. We were just talking a moment ago, Jan Postema, about the schedules and the way these guys do this week in, week out. I mean, we talk about the American Series Supercross, obviously 15, 16 rounds, pretty much week in, week out for the 250 guys. But the MX2, the lights class division, they get like 50-50, the East and West Coast, they get split. But then their outdoor continues, you know, right the way through then until September. But they only race one day now, don't they? 2 motos on Saturday only. MX1, MX2, therefore, is a tougher championship because you're arriving Friday. The guys have practice and qualifying heats on the Saturday. Then they have 2 motos on the Sunday. It's a longer weekend, isn't it? There's a long time to be away from home. A lot of them arrive Thursday, leave Monday like we do here. But you know, then when they have to go to a British Championship the following weekend and then another GP and then fit their other schedules in and around what is their primary championship. With Mel Pocock, for instance, who we're looking at now, he also has MX2 wildcards, of which this is another one, European Championship 250, which he's leading, and Max's British Motocross Championship, which he has to go to next weekend.
Yeah, to race in Europe and to do the Grand Prix or European, it's so much more work. America is so much easier. I mean, with the Euro now, it's a little bit easier money-wise, but it's so much more hassle to drive in Europe. Everything in America is basically as easier set up. You're in just one country, and here you have to, for example, transport by air, and it's just more complicated to do it. Yeah, and that takes a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah, I mean, the Americans, obviously, America are a bigger country, so for the teams, the mechanics, the truck drivers, it's longer to go coast to coast and, you know, region to region for the truck, so there's the good long driving hours. But, yeah, the riders, they'll fly to the races, but everything is the same, isn't it? The hire car desk is the same, the language is the same, they read the street signs, they go to the restaurant, eat their favorite food, watch their favorite TV show. But here, when you go to, you know, we're in Portugal last week, France the week before, as Lupino goes up the inside of Cuyo now and takes 10th place away. The Husqvarna factory rider, still not 100% well. He was pretty sick last week in Portugal, but you know, he's getting there, and obviously by the time he arrives in Sweden in 2 weeks' time, I would think that Alessandro Lupino will be back to form. But going back to the travel situation, you know, it's interesting to see Ryan Villopoto here this weekend. Obviously, we were at Parts Europe, the distribution centre for, you know, Thor clothing, to name a brand that we're all familiar with. They had all their Thor riders there. Ryan Villopoto was there, Philip Parts, Paul Lange, Xavier Bourg, Joe Roulance, Tommy Searle, for instance. And, you know, it's... was talking to you know, the guys there, Hilton, who pretty much is their, you know, their main guy, making sure that everything that gets distributed worldwide, you know, goes on track. And we were talking about Americans coming over to Europe and Europeans going to America. It's always different. You know, the top Europeans go over to the US to make a name for themselves there, but you never see the top guys coming here because it's, you know, on paper it looks pretty easy. Teunis looking to go up the inside of his teammate, who runs wide and takes a quick look over. So Teunis now takes 8th from Mel Pocock and is now going after Jose Boutron. So a good second half of the race here for number 7, Arnaud Teunis. But yeah, it's always interesting to see that, you know, you get the top 4 or 5 Americans stay at home, and then you get the guy in 6th to 10th, not with a contract. They come over here thinking, yeah, you know, I can, you know, beat the Euros and whatever, but they don't. They underestimate the travel, the language, the food, all the different scenarios that you're faced with racing a world championship.
Yeah, I worked with Jimmy Bob and Bob Moore in those days, and they were always saying, like, Jan, it's so different. It's just so different. The tracks is not a problem. I mean, it's a bike. Oh, what is he doing? Okay. It's a bike, it's a track, but it's total environment is totally different. Takes so much energy in Europe off of you.
Good move there from Teunis.
Yep.
Went in, the door was left wide open. Boutron just went just a little bit too wide, and Teunis, who was, what, down in 15th or something on the opening lap, suddenly finds himself now in 7th place, having overtaken Mel Pocock and Jose Boutron in the space of half a lap. Well, I thought he got pitched there. He seat bounced that and
nice.
Thought he had the angle change on the bike there, but back at the front, we've got Herlings and Searle, 6.6 seconds clear, so those lapping very, very similar. So I'm not saying that Searle has relaxed, but, you know, he's made a couple of mistakes and then suddenly decided, okay, not going to close it down, not enough time left. But, you know, It's going to be another win for Herlings. That's going to be another 3 points. That'll take him out to 27 in terms of the championship chase. But a good steady ride for Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Very consistent this year, by the way, the Red Bull KTM factory rider.
They really are clever. They get good information, so they
Jordan
really
Booker
can survive.
At the end of
they're going the other way.
Yeah, Jordan Booker, obviously out of the points, but the Bill-based Honda rider.
Let him stay on the bike. Learn. If you get past, I mean, you can learn. It's really important to stay out there and learn.
Here's our race leader. Oh no, Van Hoorbeek, sorry.
Van Hoorbeek. He's relaxed. He looks good. He looks stable.
Yeah.
He looks like he's having fun.
Took his first pole position of the year yesterday in the very wet conditions. He would have been pleased about that. Got him in the right position on the start line anyway, but as we've seen throughout the year, there are really two main contenders for the top two positions. He's a very clear third place, isn't he, Van Hoorbeek?
Yes. The start here, the position of the start is not that important. They really did a good job on lining up for the first corner. So if you're even in a 10th position, getting out there, you still could whole shot.
Well, he's about to come over the line to complete 18 laps. So it wasn't far out with 19 or 20 laps. So I'm getting good at this.
Well, you're doing it often enough.
Estimating the race duration, 20 laps, 21 laps. But Joel Roulants, he's been steady in 4th place. He's still 8 seconds down on Van Hoorbeek, but still gives him a good shot at getting on the podium in the second moto and overall, of course, on his home Grand Prix.
He's absolutely doing good. And you can see the difference in the line where he's going now, all the way to the outside, trying to stay out the ruts, all the way out the ruts, hit the berm a little bit, and then go back on the right side and go and see if he does that.
Yeah, and I was down
triple,
there.
single, and then moving in. Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, it's about 18 meters, that second double jump. But the triple jump coming out of that turn 2, you kind of, the quickest way to go through there is hit it at 45 degrees, from right to the left, because it's on a corner, and that's why you see, I think, Roulants and the other guys going slightly wider and then coming back on themselves just to give them that straight line edge going through that triple. Here's Tommy Searle. 9 seconds down now, so he's obviously ran into 1 or 2 more problems towards the end of that previous lap 17. But he's got 10 seconds over Van Hoorbeek. We saw a great European 125 race a little earlier on the day, didn't we? Tim Geiser, who's led every single race and won every single race this year. The first 3 rounds he won yesterday in the muddy conditions and looked like he was a dead cert winner until a lap to go when he made that mistake. He had a 3-second advantage over James Dunn, the HM Plant KTM UK rider, who really didn't relax, did he? He pushed and pushed the whole moto as Tim Geiser was either relaxing or making some small mistakes. That gap came down from about 12 seconds. And eventually he was there when it mattered, because the jump coming into that corner we just saw, Geiser ended up crashing out, and as he picked himself up and Dunn went around the outside, he crashed again, and then he got nipped on the line by Nicolas Dacour, the French rider, and he lost his first race of the year and ended up finishing 3rd, but he still won the overall round. But a great race by James Dunn earlier in the European MX 125.
Yeah, but Geiser thought he had it in the bag. I mean, you don't have nothing until the finish line drops, so really was really surprised that he gave it away, because he looked really relaxed, probably a little bit too much.
Yeah. Well, we are on the final lap here at this brand new circuit in the Bastogne area, or the Ardennes area of Belgium, in Bastogne. Great circuit, actually, in terms of the nature of the ground. You can see like 7, 8, 9 lines there. We don't often see that in the circuits, but whatever they've done differently this weekend, it's obviously working here, because it has created some great racing, some great passing opportunities, some creative lines. Of course, they will get a little bit choppy as the MX1 guys go out again, and obviously the MX2 come out a little bit later on, but going to be an interesting battle between these two again, Tommy Searle and Jeffrey Herlings. But I can't wait, actually. It's going to, Tommy Searle, hopefully he gets a good start. We're talking an Englishman and a Dutchman here in the commentary booth. But
Herling beat him this time fair and square, and he was out. The pass in the first lap after a couple of turns, it was brilliant. I was really happily surprised with what he did. Yeah. And he was just like, I'm the guy, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to pass you. Bye.
Well, here he is out of the penultimate corner then. Red Bull KTM factory racing rider Jeffrey Herlings rounds out the final corner. He's got a lot of support here this week. He hits the Monster Energy finish line jump, and that, he knows, is a big win for him, because not only has he won on a hard-packed circuit. He did so by passing Tommy Searle, who comes over the line now. He passed him on the very first lap, and he weathered the storm for quite a while, did Jeffrey Hurlings, and it was Tommy Searle who started to make the mistakes. They crept into his game at the wrong point, and he comes over the line 11.5 seconds down on the championship leader, Jeffrey Hurlings.
Yeah, Tommy didn't look happy at all. Maybe it's something with his bike. He was quite low in the back, so maybe they have to set it up a little bit different.
Maybe.
But Hurlings was just out there and kicking.
Yeah, he looks pretty relaxed as well as he gets off the bike. Valentina gives him a hug. He may or may not. No, doesn't. Acknowledge Tommy Searle, that second position. Of course, there's still another race to go. Do the handshakes on the podium, probably. But Van Hoorbeek third, Roulants fourth. Jake Nichols fifth in the end on that Nestan Gem Racing. Oh, we're still waiting for him to come over the line, actually. So Roulants was 21 seconds down on our race leader, or race winner. But was that Nichols just going through? Yeah, so 1 minute and 5 down. Then it was Tixier, Tonus, Boutron, Pocock and Lupino. They're waiting for those to come over the line now. But yeah, a great race to get us underway here in Belgium. The halfway stage in the 2012 FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. Big win for that guy there, 84, Jeffrey Hurlings. He knows it as well. So he wins it then from Tommy Searle, Van Hoorbeek, Roulants and Nichols. Well, Jan Postema, just summarise quickly your thoughts on that first MX2 race for us.
I'm just surprised with the fitness of the guys. They really are staying out there and going fast and keep going fast for the whole period of time, and that's just brilliant. Handling of the bikes, you can see all the bikes basically do a good thing. Really, they stay in line. They don't bounce too much. I mean, it doesn't kick in. You don't get no kick and the track is nice. It's old school. I really enjoy this. It's just fast. It's technical. It's difficult, and the guys really have to go out there and stay focused. If you're not focused, you get off the bike. So really, have to stay focused, and that's just nice to see.
Yeah. Well, the calm before the storm, as they say, before MX1 get ready to go. Got Ryan Villapoto joining me in the box here briefly in the MX1 race. And then, of course, at 2:15 on MX Live TV, we've got our live show from over there in the Monster Rig. We've got Max Anstey and Lorenzo Resta from Honda. And we've got Danny Hart, the world mountain bike downhill champion, joining me, and also Ryan Villapoto, who needs no introduction. Jeffrey Hurlings then wins race 1 from Tommy Searle, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Joel Roulants, Jake Nichols, Jordi Tixier, Arnold Tonus, Jose Boutron and Mel Pocock there in 9th, with Alessandro Lupino getting through to 10th. Romain Febvre, another good point-scoring ride for him, the European champ from last year, MX2. He finished in 11th, ahead of Nikolai Larsen, Valentin Guyot, Jeremy Stewart, Glenn Coldenhoff, Harry Kulas, Kevin Fors, Peter Petrov, Julian Lieber and Andrea Chervelin. No points on the board for Max Anstey. In terms of the championship, Jeffrey Hurlings arrived here with the red plate, continues to lead. He was 24 points clear of Tommy Searle. That win means he's now 27 points clear, the difference between first and second in the race. Van Hoorbeek picks up good points. He stays third, and then it's Roulants, Anstey, Nichols, Lupino. No changes there. And then Boutron, he stays 9th, and Ferrandis obviously dropped down to 11th after last week, but Kulas is now in 10th place. And we see Michael Lieb obviously had a great Grand Prix in Fermo, round 3 of the championship, not here. Still not sure what's going on with him, but obviously got some kind of bug. Get well soon.
Jeffrey, some slightly different track conditions out there today. How was the first race?
It was really good. Was second behind on the start, and then made it into the lead straight in the second corner and rode a solid moto. I'm really satisfied about my riding and my start, so I hope to do the same second moto and hope to come out with another win and hope to make it 3 in a row with the overalls. But it's going to be tough, but I'm going to do my best. And got to give it to Replicate Gem Racing Team. You know, the guys work so hard for me, and thanks to them, I'm right here in first place.
We'll see you next race.
looking pretty cool, calm, collected, and 25 points better off, and extends his championship lead after the first race here in Belgium. Jeffrey Herlings, what's that, 9 wins now from the season, and just showing us great style
and the gloves
throughout the whole of the first moto. He'll be looking forward to moto number 2, but of course that's going to be more than an hour away, a couple hours away. Tommy Searle finished second on the Fluide Monster Energy Pro Circuit racing Kawasaki. Eventually about 11 seconds down on our race winner after what looked like it was going to be a great battle between the two MX2 giants. Here he is. He's down by the podium with Amy.
Tommy, well done on finishing second in the first race. Great start for you. You took the whole shot, and then did you make a few mistakes?
Yeah, I took the whole shot, and then there's one double out there where you have to jump really high to make the inside, and I jumped high, and Jeffrey come underneath me, and yeah, I had to like really pick it up and move out his way, otherwise we would have hit in the air. So a bit crazy move on the first lap, but other than that, it was a good race. I think like I caught Jeffrey back up, and then I made a mistake on my own out there. The track's pretty tricky, and I lost my rhythm a little bit, but happy with that, and go win the second one and get the overall.
Well done.
So Tommy Searle then just not happy by the sounds of it. The manoeuvre on him by Jeffrey Herlings, it was very, very close looking at it on the TV, but Herlings found a way through. He took the risk, it paid off, and the two riders stayed up, and he went on to win the race. Tommy Searle, though, by his own admission, tried to get back on the rear wheel of the KTM rider and made a few mistakes on what was a tricky circuit, but then he turns around and says, but I'll just go out and win the second race and win the overall. So he got the negatives out of the way first, and now he's thinking positive already, and he's got just over an hour to get himself refocused to concentrate on that second race win. It's possible, and he's obviously thinking that it's going to be possible as well. But interesting to hear the two interviews there from Herlings and Tommy Searle. Here's Jeremy Van Horby. He was third. He's with Amy.
Jeremy, yesterday we saw you put the best lap time in pre-qualifying, finished on the podium for the first race. Are you happy with that result?
Yeah, mixed feelings. I had a decent start, you know. I was immediately 3, and we was riding a high pace in the beginning, but the track was pretty flat, you know. They fixed everything, so it was too fast for me, you know. I don't like it so much, and it's too fast. But I'm happy, and I hope they leave the track like this for the second moto, and will be good rough, some good technique, and I'm happy to be third, and hope I can do something in the second moto.
Jeremy Van Horbeck finishes third.
Jan Postema, some interesting comments from Jeremy Van Horbeek there. In fact, we'll go to the break in a moment, but third overall in the first race for Van Horbeek. He wants to keep the track rough for moto number 2. Jan Postema, for the viewers on MX Live TV, Jeremy Van Horbeek, he said there he wants to keep the track rough because I guess maybe just thinking the track just a little bit too fast. It never had that opportunity to get really bumpy, did it, yesterday? And when it did, they had to change the circuit to allow, you know, them to work on the circuit yesterday to get rid of the deep ruts and that kind of thing. So any bumps that were there yesterday, you know, now maybe not there today.
There was too much mud yesterday. That's also the point. Well, he's taking like, oh, I want the track to be more rough. But I think the track is not going to change that much. The line's going to be a bit deeper. The bump's going to be a bit, but it's not going to be a major change.
No.
The track is fast. The track is for the guys that keep it pinned and are early on the gas. And body movement. You have to move. You have to move your body. You have to stay up like he's doing now. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then hit the throttle.
Yeah, but the ground now is obviously, because it was pretty flat again before the start of the race, obviously the bumps that they're getting now are the bumps that we should have had yesterday, and by the end of today, then we will see, you know, a little bit more, you know, the physical condition.
Yeah, without the mud, it would be completely different track.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely, with more kickers and everything like on it. So we got to see, and he's doing good. I think he's doing good on third place and then staying stable out there. So that doesn't look too bad. He should be a bit more happy, maybe. Smile a little bit more. It really helps.
He's riding with an injury, though. He's got an ankle problem that he's had for the last few weeks, but never mentioned it there, though.
No.
I think he's just happy to be riding in Belgium, although he's from the north, we're in the south, different regions, different accents, that kind of thing. But, hey, it's a home Grand Prix. Can't complain.
No complaints there.
Well, Jan Postema, I'm going to say thank you for joining us here on MX Live TV and, of course, on Motors TV for your insight and the knowledge from the Thai Grand Prix, which we go to for the first round in 2013. We're getting ready to come off air now briefly as we prepare for MX1 Race 1. Jan Postema, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Thank you anytime. See you again soon.